Okay, what can we say about MCU's 2025 Thunderbolts, ranging from a 2 hours and 6 minute long movie? It was a action-packed movie of a ragtag team of reject Marvel characters from the MCU. I think that's like the best way we can sum up this movie. Was it good? I think it was solid. That's probably it. You can stop watching the video now. But due for analysis here, for so long, for this phase of the MCU, I believe this is the end of like this phase. Then we have, for it, right? With Pedro Pascal and Cousin and Eddie, and she was in Fast and Furious. That's all I remember for her in. But during this phase, a lot of people, or even this for a good while, people just have not liked what's been going on with the MCU. You had this point where you were kind of wrapping up what was happening with the older heroes, stuff like that, right? And then you had this new phase of introducing new people, but it was like, did we want this? Did people want this? Some of it was nice. Some of it was like, okay, sure, I'll watch this. But for the most part, people were like, I don't care. And Thunderbolts. You have to think about all the characters and where they come from. Florence Pugh, the new Black Widow. For the most part, the Black Widow movie, it was okay. It did introduce us Red Guardian, which David Harbour, I think, good choice for that. Solid choice for that. She even gets in the Hawkeye show, which, we got Kingpin back. There was little connections here and there, right? Overall, I like her character and I like Red Guardian. And then next character, we have U.S. Agent John, who came from, was it Captain America? No, Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's where he came from. There were parts about that show that I did like. Some of it I was like, meh. I did find it, and I did like his. At first, I didn't like him, but I think that was the point of his character, where you were not supposed to like him. You're not supposed to like that he's a new Captain America, and like he gets really like edgy with his Captain America. And something I do like when a show or a movie does is if they can make you hate somebody, if the person can act to make you hate them, I think they've done their job. And I think he did that perfectly. And, Bucky's a staple. I don't need to talk about him. Then you have like Ghost and Taskmaster, who like Taskmaster, I think was just done dirty all around. I mean, like immediately just gets killed like in the first 30 minutes of the movie. I mean, apparently in the comics, they don't do so great either. But man, Taskmaster, like I said, I really... I was like, it was a little shame. Ghost, well, was that from Ant-Man? I don't remember. I don't even remember where Ghost came from. I really don't remember where Ghost came from. I think that was Ant-Man the Wasp. I had to look it up here real quick. But yeah, all these rejects, and I don't think I need to explain it too much anymore. All these rejects come together, and it's just like, what can we do with these? And I think it's similar to what they did with like Deadpool and Wolverine. We're like, we're going to tie up some loose ends here because maybe we didn't like the direction we go. I think Deadpool Wolverine was kind of like, how can we like fix this multiverse mess? Although it seems they're still going with it to some degree, considering the end teaser of this movie, and then also like we already know a little bit about Doomsday, so I don't think that's too much of a spoiler. But in this one, like we had these characters who like, we didn't know what to do with them, so let's put them on a movie. And in a weird way, it's kind of messy, but I think it works. I think it works for the most part, and it calls for some funny interactions to put these like random, I wouldn't say random, but like kind of random characters into a story who they're all these kind of like solo mercenary types who work on their own, and now they're forced in a situation where they have to work together. And then you have this guy Bob, who is Sentry, and I didn't know he was going to be Sentry, and I was like, that's kind of cool. Apparently it was going to be Stephen Yeun, Invincible, at one point. That was kind of funny. I don't know if he would have done a good job in that. I can't say that because it didn't happen in that timeline. But our actor Bob, Lewis Pullman, playing Sentry, I think he did good. And in fact, he kind of gave me like Homelander vibes when he really kind of went into his like, we put the suit of Sentry, and he realized like, I'm basically a god. What are you gonna do about it? And I like that I saw that. I kind of saw that channeled, and I think he did really good with that part. But now like I said, you have these people, and it kind of remind me of like the ragtag D&D group, we're like, oh, we met each other at a tavern, and now we're kind of like forced to work together, and we have to kind of like work out our traumas and differences to see how we can save the day. And it's not like the heroes we wanted, but I guess it's the ones that you needed, right? And I remember watching the trailer too, seeing like, oh, there's like some god force thing that's like destroying everything, and I'm just like, how are they gonna get out of this one? How are they gonna stop this? Because he's like, they've mentioned and make jokes about it, like these people don't have powers, they just all shoot and kick basically. I mean, at most, Ghosts like has powers, and I guess Red Guardian does to some degree, and Bucky. But how are they going to solve this? How are they going to save the day? And I like that the story didn't rely on them having powers. It relied, I think, because these characters didn't have powers, they were forced to write a story where that wasn't the main focus. Because we all know that like Thor could come here and like just wreck everything, right? And it's something that I think I've said in previous videos of how Marvel, I like that Marvel to some degree recently. I mean, I think I've seen it in like the new Daredevil show, and scaling back a little bit to like these smaller problems. I mean, they do fight like a godlike Sentry, right? Or I guess he's technically the Void, but having to find a way to solve a problem other than just like I have lightning powers or I'm the Hulk or whatever, right? And I think it forced the writers to focus on the characters and like who they are. And all these characters have some kind of trauma. There's something about each character that they have a motivation. There's something about each character that put them in the situation of why they're there. Whether it's John Walker, he's a disgraced hero, and Yelena, who has trauma from becoming a assassin, and then the trauma of her family with her dad, and then Ghost, she's also been tested on and stuff. And yeah, it forces everybody to learn how to deal with those traumas and kind of learn how to accept help from others too, because they're all like, I don't want your help, I don't want your help, but they all learn together to accept help and to stop pushing things down and to embrace that there are others who feel the same way I do, and maybe they can't rid my trauma, but we can share this trauma and they can help me lift these burdens. And I think the movie really displayed that very much, and attached with some very cool scenes. I mean, like Bucky pulling up like the Terminator, pretty sick, right? Red Guardian limo service. But I think the main core of this movie was like just trauma. And how do we move past it? How do we feel like we can redeem ourselves so we don't have to live with these burdens anymore? And I feel like a good way that was especially shown is the relationship between Yelena and her father, Alexei. And I think the one scene that comes to mind is when they realize, oh, we can't stop Sentry. Like, there's just nothing we can do. And Yelena walks off, and Alexei comes and tells her, like, I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you. And she's admitted that she feels so alone. She feels so lost. And he's like, and he kind of feels the same way too. But he tells her that, your past doesn't like control you, because you are a good person. And I know you're a good person. And I can tell you why you're a good person, based off you wanting to be the goalie of your soccer team. So people will rely on you and you can help them, right? Your soccer team, Thunderbolts, sponsored by, what was it, like a tire shop or something like that. And those were very beautiful moments like that. And there were some very dark scenes too, when Red Guardian like saves a child and then boom, she just gets blinked out of existence. I'm surprised that Marvel went there with some of those scenes a little bit too. I don't know, maybe that Daredevil influence got them a little bit, but they're surprising me a little bit. But like, I do remember being like, how are they gonna get out of this? Like I said, they don't have any powers, and for them to have to solve the problem not with like fighting, but like with help lifting each other up and releasing the burden of your trauma. So they go inside the void, and they all have to fight the demons that they have inside, these terrible things that they've done or have experienced, and they have to relive them over and over again. It's an absolute nightmare. But it's only then, when they work together to go through all this stuff, that they can succeed. And it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. They have to learn that they can't always use their fists. They can't always shoot. They just gotta literally hug it out. Literally, friendship is magic type stuff, It was about the friends we made along the way. That was a little bit of the message of the movie. And I thought that was beautiful. I thought it was well done. And it's something I haven't seen in a while. And it felt just kind of unique for the MCU. It wasn't like some big bad we gotta fight. It was like we have to fight the inner fight that we all have inside of us. And we fight it together, and then we can heal from that. Very beautiful. So far, it's probably the best Marvel movie I've seen this year. It's not a high number at this moment. Let's see what Fantastic Four does for us. But where this movie teases us, though, if we can kind of get into that, is, well, they save the day, right? Bob. I like that Bob he's Sentry. He's part of the group, I like that. That's really nice. Bob was a great character. They confront Tulsi Gabbard here, Valentina. Allegra de Fontaine, that's a whole mouthful, right? And the way she spins it, masterclass of propaganda right there. But it comes at a cost. They own her now, the quote-unquote new Avengers. And I think it's crazy that, but like the next day, Marvel's like, we are now promoting this like crazy. We're going to promote the new Avengers now. We're ripping the Band-Aid off. This is what this is now. And then towards the end of the movie, we get the montage of all these little Easter eggs of like how people feel about the new Avengers, like not my Avengers, be Avengers, and then we even get some nice gags with the Wheaties box. Great promotion, right? And it's funny though, because in real life, people are rejecting these can't be the new Avengers. I'm so angry. And it's like, that's literally the joke in the movie. I find really funny. And I think that like I said, that's the joke of the movie, that how can these people be the new Avengers? And it is funny to some degree. Obviously, I don't think MCU is going to make these guys the new Avengers or whatever. I believe even in the promotions, they got the little, was it the Astrid or whatever, the little symbolism. I mean, they had it with the Thunderbolts as well. So I think you guys can relax. But we do get as I said a bit earlier, the Fantastic Four teaser. Judging from speculations of that plot, it seems like they're probably not going to defeat the Galactus, and they have to go to a different dimension to maybe get some help. That's kind of where I think that's going. But I'm excited for that movie. And Thunderbolts, I think, out of this phase, I think it was a good ender. You're wrapping up some loose ends that we don't need anymore. You're able to do something with these characters that we didn't know what to do with. Literally, we're cleaning up here. We gotta find what to do with all these like characters, and then we've had some actors who dropped out, actors who died, actors who've controversy. I mean, look, I don't even know what's happening with Kang Dynasty. Like, I've heard rumors that Doom is just gonna off them all. That's what I hear. Wasn't that supposed to come out already? I don't even know what's happening. What's the deal with Spider-Man? Did you enjoy Daredevil Born Again? I thought that was pretty sick. Yeah. So this current phase has been a little wacky. We did get some interesting movies out of it. Interesting could be interpreted as, I don't say that it would mean good interesting, but we had some movies. I can say that much. As of it speaks right now, I do think the comic book hype is kind of dying down. I mean, it seems like we're seeing the rise of more video games and movies to capitalize on. A new well to, what's the word I'm looking for? Extract from, and until they can squeeze it no longer, We'll see how it goes. But I can say this about this movie. I recommend you go see it. I think overall, it's fun. I've had some people who I went to go see the movie with who didn't think they like it, but they did. And at the end of the day, if it's not fun, why bother? Right? As a standalone kind of NC movie, I don't even think you really even need to have seen other movies to like watch this. I think you can sit there and like kind of just take this movie as is, if its own little plot of like these characters who have been through so much, who have been treated like crap, learning to come together and all deal with interpersonal demons. And I think that is the main message and the heart and core of this movie. And it's one reason I really liked it. It was very emotional, even a little bit tear-jerking at some times. And what more can you want? It made you laugh. It made you cry. And that's why I pay, an arm and a leg to go sit in the theater with really expensive popcorn for that. Have a good time. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. Oh man, I one more thing before I head off. I love the promotions of this movie. Like, I love the whole weed box things. I remember I came out of the theater of watching the re-showing of like Revenge of the Sith, and I saw the giant like weedy box, and I love that they tied that end to the movie as well. And I wonder how much like Wheaties paid to get that in there. But I think one of the biggest amounts of promotion that I saw with this movie was the Rizzler meeting them. It's not fair. It's not fair that this child gets to be that close to Florence Pugh and other actors that I truly love and cherish. It's not fair. It's not fair. I have to go to my 9 to 5, but he gets to live it up. Damn it. You can't keep getting away with it. I'm happy for the little guy, though. He was out. But then, Kevin Feige, when are you going to team up with Toho to bring us this to the big screen? Tell me when. Tell me when.